So, someone needs to hear this today, and I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about the importance of moving out of the way and allowing people to reap what they sow. Now, it's good to have mercy and to be compassionate and to generally come from that space when relating to other people, but we don't live in a perfect world, and there are people who will take advantage of your kindness and humanity. For that reason, it is important to look out for yourself. These people may come in the form of friends, they may even come in the form of family, they may be coworkers, it could even be a neighbor or perhaps a stranger off the street that you have come into contact with and for some unforeseen reason are required to interact with them on an ongoing basis. Or perhaps these transactions could even be quick. It only takes a split second for a person who is inclined to manipulate people, particularly people who have had practice manipulating, to seek out their victims and basically jump into action and begin to take advantage of someone else. So be on the lookout. But as far as allowing people to reap what they sow, so let's say you have a friend or a family member who knowingly and repeatedly brings on negative situations and they're always asking to be bailed out. And of course, you feel for this person. You don't want them to be harmed. You want them to see a better way to get their life together. So you are always there when they call. Now, that is not a bad thing. And you should not beat yourself up, because I know it's easy to feel like you're being taken advantage of in that situation. And quite honestly, oftentimes you are, particularly if the person knows what they are doing, they've seen the outcome of their behavior, but they feel like they will always be able to call someone else to bail them out, and they keep doing it. However, it's okay to be compassionate and to feel for other humans. You were designed to be that way. By all means, please continue to do that, but exercise discretion when deciding when it's appropriate for you to engage or to come to the rescue or to spring into action and help that same person. So I know a lot of people say, well, God forgives us time and time again, and that is the case, but at the same time, people are still permitted to experience the consequences of their behavior. Or you may be forgiven 1,000 times, but that doesn't necessarily mean that after like the fifth time or the 75th time or the 900th time, I mean, we're not even in control of when that happens. We can't pick and choose when consequences come. But eventually, people who continue to engage in destructive behavior or manipulative behavior or deceitful behavior will generally experience the consequences of their actions, and it won't be pretty. And for that reason, everyone else is cautioned, whether you're religious or not, whether you believe the Bible, whether even just like outside of religion, practically speaking, if you hang around people who continue to sow bad seeds, you will be there when their harvest comes in, and the harvest will not discriminate against who it touches, basically. So like, imagine you're like in a community that practices, I don't know where I come up with these analogies, but imagine you're in a community that practices bad farming practices, and they basically like poison the land and pollute it and make it where it won't be sustainable to continue to farm that land. So after the land is no longer suitable for use, or if toxins have leaked into the land, you continue to not oppose those practices. You continue to reside in that community and to rely on the food and the fruits that come from that land. Guess who's going to be impacted once that harvest comes in and you're purchasing your stuff at the grocery store or at the market or wherever? Like, you're going to, if you don't either step in or if you don't remove yourself from that situation and into a better community, you are going to be affected by the toxic fruit or the lack thereof, the famine that falls on that land as a result of those corrupt practices that were never spoken against or regulated or brought under scrutiny, or just like if you didn't like remove yourself and flee that situation and like get yourself a better situation, you're going to be impacted. And for that reason, we have to know when to back away and allow people who insist on doing the wrong thing, who insist on creating situations that can not only negatively impact themselves but the people around them. We have to know when to step back and just let that person reap their consequences, because if they continue to choose that path, they don't want better. In a way, whether direct or indirect, that is the result that they want, or they don't believe it'll happen and they need to learn that lesson. But you don't have to learn it right along with them. You know, if you know better, and if you're trying to guide this person onto a better path, you do know better, and therefore it behooves you to step back, because you can be negatively impacted by what happens to them. And also, it's not up to you if a person chooses a certain path, chooses a certain, like if you believe in karma or what goes around comes around. If a person decides to stay on that merry-go-round, you can't really stop the merry-go-round. You know, you're like a small being in this universe, and you've got to detach yourself and work on you and be healthy and move on. And maybe you can be there for the person when everything unravels. Maybe you can't, but you've got to learn. And I say this a lot: you cannot control other people, but you can look after yourself, control yourself, keep yourself healthy, create healthy distance if that's what you need to do. And we need to start learning to do more of that, because it's very easy to get bogged down and to think, well, why do all these bad things happen to me? Why am I always in the middle of the drama? But you're not doing what you need to do to create that buffer and separate yourself from the drama. And separating yourself might not even be easy. Like, it's going to take practice. If it were that easy, everyone would be out of drama, you know. Or it might take like learning a different lifestyle, a different way of like spending your free time. But you can do it. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I hope it helps someone. I hope it's clear. Yeah, it's up to you to keep yourself out of trouble and away from the aftermath of someone else's bad decisions and the poor situations they create for themselves. So on that note, I will see you again in the next video. Until then, take care and be well. Bye now.